I've used this platform. We're streaming live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. No, we're not going to take too much of you guys' time tonight, but we're going to jump right into some information that really everybody needs to be taking advantage of and looking at because it's literally changing the it's changing everything. I remember Candra at the beginning of the year, I had a major opportunity and it brought me a lot of money. But then within a couple of months, that opportunity was kind of taken from me because AI came through and they said, We don't need your services anymore." So I wasn't quick enough to engulf what you're going to talk about tonight to be able to use it for my benefit on that instance, but I have done so since. So as we get started, for you guys who don't know, my name is Brian Street. I started a company back in 2018 called Your Legacy Begins Now, where I partner up with various different individuals and organizations to generate funds that ultimately are meant to go towards the development and sustainability of at-risk youth mentorship programs. So my services range from mental health related, financial education. I do a little bit in the graphic space. I'm trying to kind of like get rid of that. But today we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about this lady before you, Candra Lewis. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. But before I do so, she's an individual I've been connected to, probably about 4 years or so now, three,
Mhm.
4 years. And she's just a real one. A lot of times you try to be formal and professional around people, but sometimes you can have a professional relationship with someone and it can just get loose and relaxed and comfortable because they're just real. And she's one of those types of individuals where she's about her business, but she enjoys life at the same time. And I love surrounding myself with people like her. And she's taking advantage of what's going on out here and helping other people understand how they can do the same and teaching them how they can do it. So without further ado, Kendra Lewis, if you don't mind introducing yourself, and let's talk about this wonderful subject tonight.
All right. Well, first of all, can you hear me okay? Is my volume right? All right, good. Okay, well, thank you for that introduction, Brian. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you for opening up your platform to me and giving me this time. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Candra Lewis. I'm the CEO of For My Son LLC, and we do food, wine, and finance. I'm going to give you a brief overhaul of that and then get into what we're talking about tonight. I'm also the author of the best-selling book, Take Control of Feeling Better. That's available on my website as well. So with the food, I do coaching for transitional eating and everything to maintain a healthier life. With the wine, I have a partnership with a winery out in Napa for the artisan wines. And then with the finance, been privileged enough to be networked into a space where now we're able to offer so many different things that are helping me to get on track to getting things together for building generational wealth, and in turn help you all everything from personal to business, and not just credit cleanup. It's not just that, like, you can get that cleaned up, but then what do you do with it later on? So we want to take that and build it into wealth. But across all of those platforms and the other things that For My Son is getting into, there's one thing that ties everything together, and that is AI. So as I have been looking to not spread myself thin, also looking to level up in business, attract a new audience, do business in a whole different way, I started working with AI. And so I was privileged enough to have Chat GPT introduced to me before it made the news. So when it was in those earlier stages, I was able to, work with it. And it was like a couple of tricklings of people had it, but nobody was really using it like that. It was like once it hit the news, boom, you heard it everywhere. But it's been around. All these different things have been around for a while. So what's starting to happen is that there's starting to be another great divide. And you want to pay attention to what's going on, because if you're not already seeing that it's again a little bit, harder to do business in a traditional way. If you're not already seeing the fact that you need to expand the fact that what you can take for currency, about taking, fiat currency versus cryptocurrency, all these different things are happening all at once. But as I was going through and teaching myself to put prompts together and honing my skills as a prompt engineer, I noticed something. So I was talking to my friend Elmer. So if you see me post anything for CEO EIL, I nicknamed him the crypto translator. And to say that is an understatement. We have been making the circuit, and I'll get back around to that. These past couple of days have been a whirlwind. But I just asked him one day as I was working with these different prompts, I said, hey, is all this stuff intertwined between the ChatGPT, the crypto, Web3 is dropping? If you're not, up on what you need to do with that, you better be. So all these different things are happening. And he said, absolutely. So when you start breaking it down, it's in the prompts, bottom line. So that's where your foundation is. So I had a lot of people, as you're networking, you have people that you come across, and there's all these different platforms we're using, AI virtual assistants, AI for art, AI for this, AI for that. And so there were certain things that people would ask me about, can you do this, with image that I have, can you create this for me? And then as we would take that and have presentations about Web3 and about all these different things that were going on, I kept hearing the same comment. It's going over my head. This is going over my head. So as an educator, I just naturally started like looking for resources, because no matter what you do, if you're helping people, it'll help you too. Because the more of us that know what is going on, the more of us who know what's going on, we'll be able to all keep up. And the more of us that prosper, the better off we all are. So I'm looking on YouTube and I'm seeing all this different stuff. And because I've already taught myself, I can see what's missing. I can tell that if I send this link to someone who's an absolute beginner, they're going to be like, this is missing, that's missing. Things weren't coming together. There's a missing piece. So I got tired of looking for it. So I created it. And that's how I came up with the course for AI for beginners. So what it does is it takes people into the basis of prompts, but I do so in a way like you do with education. When you're an educator, you give your student a foundation, you practice on it, you build on it, and it becomes more complex, right? And they can see what they can do with it. So before I go any further, you have any questions, Brian? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
No questions necessarily, but for those who are watching and who are listening, be sure that, and I'm trying to take note of certain keywords, key terms, certain key terms you want to be able to reach out and ask about. And whenever you go into the program, go into the course, I'm sure there will be definitions, there will be explanations of certain key terms. So make sure that you get the basis. This is about education. It's not about going in and saying what so many people today are doing is just let me see how I can use this to make some quick money. The money will come if you properly educate yourself on it. So that's what this course is all about. Um, and just before I do hand it back to you, what do you or what have you seen in your work so far, and maybe the work of those of us that you're connected to, that information which you have in your course, what have you seen that this type of information has been able to do for us in this crazy world that we're living in right now?
Okay, very good question. So if you there's a couple of ways of looking at it first. So I'm gonna put that foundation down before I answer that question. Um, some people are intrigued and they want to know more, but just don't know how to use it. Some people are against it because they say it's going to take our jobs. So it will take some jobs, it will put some people out of business, but if you're not flexible, if you don't learn it, you're not going to be able to make the shift. There's a way, if you see AI as a compliment, that it can actually either enhance your business or take what you know. And there's other opportunities that are being created with it. That being said, what I've seen as far as the people who are in my circle that do use it, and we use it as a compliment. It's not a crutch. I'm a researcher from day one. So I still love to go in, find research, look it up, and know what I'm doing. But having that mind and having that organization and what you know, it helps you when you go to plug in those prompts, when you go to do that presentation. So, for example, if you're a solopreneur, right? You have the LLC, you're running your company, but you are it. You don't have a board, you don't have, employees, you're a solopreneur. You have to do the marketing, you have to, put the presentations together, all these different admin things you have to do. When the money, comes in with, you being able to deliver your service, but those other things have to be done to have things in place for you to market and pull in those things. So if you know the prompts to use and you know how to navigate these systems, then it's a time saver. So you can take and either program your bot to do what you need it to do, or you can have it made for you. And there's different companies that are out that can, piece things together for you. However, we also have a program that I've been privileged to get on with Elmer, and basically it's also to help people to customize it. And as you're going through your business, simplification is going to be the name of the game. We've come up in a world of just, and I'm guilty of this too, working yourself to the bone and things like that, and not really preserve anything because we think that harder work is better work, when actually it's smarter. When you work smarter, you can do more. So I'm becoming part of that group of, I wake up saying, today let me work smarter instead of work harder, because I want to have that balance so that I can enjoy things that are starting to open up and happen, and learning these different parts of AI, learning um, these different things are really simplifying some things, and my eyes are just being open to so many different things and different avenues where obtaining clients is becoming different. Right before coming on with you, I was working on a funnel, and a lot of times funnels, I don't know, we remember at the last wealth explosion, we were talking about a funnel. You remember how long it was taking to put that together? So, Brian, using AI today, I did 3 funnels today. So tonight I will launch them and start to use the prompts that I engineer within ChatGPT to speak to the other AIs that I have in place and bring me what I need to, so that I can start to SEO, maximize the ads that I put out, and start to pull up so I can go higher in the search engines. So it's very important to learn these different things, and that's what the course teaches, that foundation. If you don't have a foundation, so a lot of people, what they're trying to do is they're trying to go and throw up the building. What happens when you throw up a building with no foundation? Right.
It's gonna crumble.
It's going to crumble. So it's going to come crashing down. So then there's that other aspect of what you see on YouTube, what you see on the internet. So you see those different those thumbnails they put up, make $100 a day, using ChatGPT, do this, that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is possible. I'll just say that it is possible if you have the foundation. So these ChatGPT, all these different things, there's so many different aspects to it. So what I did was I condensed it down. You can actually, be engineering prompts in the next couple of days through the course that I put up. However, I'm going to encourage people who take the course to at least follow the modules the way that I put them up, because with each one, you'll see me in the beginning, like, hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming, all the different things. And I speak very slowly. And I focused on speaking slowly because sometimes when you speak too fast, people can get lost. And when you're in learning mode, you're trying to pick up what it is that the person is giving you. So I definitely
Mm-hmm.
focused on purpose, spoke a lot slower in there, but I focused on my screen. So I have my screen up, and the course is going through. I explain to you what you're going to do. You look at the screen and follow me through right in the first prompt. And I tell you, okay, practice this. Now, each module that you learn is monetizable. Those are the ones that I chose to focus on, because once you can engineer your prompts, you can go through and you know how to, they say, oh, write this book or whatever. Okay, so you go and you tell ChatGPT to write your book, right? But you don't hit the prompts right. Is it giving you the proper information? Did you have a double check? All these different things. Did you pull from the right information? And then the thing is, if you put the prompts correctly, you can also do things in different languages. So it's, and instead of you having to spend, like, in the past, I would spend time translating between English and Spanish, and, and it would take a moment, but you still want to double check. Let me be clear, people. Still double check. No matter what you do in life, double check. And that's what you do, but it cuts that time in half, sometimes in more than half. So I also like put in there a couple of bonuses as well. So the bonuses I put in there are, I give some resources that are actually free, because you want to use your free resources to practice, to get your skills down. Once you have your skills down, then you can go into the paid ones, give you more attributes, give you more resources that you can use. But when you start with the free, at least you can get the gist of it. And then also as a bonus, in each sector so I did SEO research, and to see like what was the most popular, as far as like what was moving the fastest, what's moving the fastest, what's selling the fastest, what's monetizing the quickest. And for each of those, you get 500. So I'm supplying you within the course with 500 prompts. People go on to different platforms to pay for prompts. They're paying for prompts, 200, 300, they're paying for this. I give you 500 of them for free to get you started within the most popular categories of what's actually, selling. You follow the prompts, you do what you need to do, you put your voice to it, you proofread it, you use it as a helper and not a crutch, and then you see what happens. So Elmer and I have been, talking from foundation. So today in my house on Clubhouse, Healthy Wealthy Life, I said we went from A to M. And the reason why I said we went from A to M was because Z is the end, and we haven't even gotten close to it. And in that, we went from the foundation. Then I was fortunate to have someone in the room who is actually in like the metaverse, has property, running a mall, a store, and things like that. So we had that information come through, and then Elmer came through with what's going on with Web3 and ChatGPT, and what's going on with crypto, and it's just, and with blockchain getting ready to change, just so many different things happening. And if you don't think that this is important, the what's getting ready to happen and what we've been privy to finding out and everything. I feel very fortunate to be in a, in a circle with $100 million run, with Chris, with you, with Elmer, with, you know, forward thinking people and people researchers, adamant researchers, is that some things, just because you don't like them, just because you don't want them, doesn't mean that you can stop them. So I always put two things before people. You can either, if you are sitting up there trying to figure out if you want to know this, if you're trying to figure out how you're going to use something, the best way to do it is to get the knowledge. But also, if you really feel like you just don't like something, it's going to be part of your life. A soldier doesn't go to war without knowing the enemy. So either way, you got to know it, if whether you like it or not. And it's already been there. Your Alexa, your Siri, your all these different things that, there's the fun stuff, and now it's stepped up and it's serious. And it's coming out in so many different ways. So empower yourself, learn it, use it to your advantage. I also have a module in there talking about safeguards. So it's not like I just throw in, how to engineer your prompts and things. I have a whole section there talking about safeguards. What do you use it for? What do you not use it for? And that's in the course as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned safeguards because I was part of a clubhouse session. It's been about a month and some change ago now, and it was speaking about how to utilize ChatGPT and various other AI tools to increase your business, increase your cash flow, so on and so forth. But we had this one guy that is an AI researcher. So he didn't come in to bust everybody's bubble, but he came in to let everybody be like on alert. So he gave arguments against and for the whole technological movement, and his arguments against weren't necessarily against. They were, as you said, safeguards. Be sure to keep these certain parameters in order if you're going to let your child be using this technology,
Mm-hmm.
because there's things that they say it doesn't allow you to do. But if you change how you ask the question, if you tell them what this is for research purposes, or well, give me that feedback as if this was just a hypothetical scenario,
Mm-hmm.
there's things you can do to modify and to
Yes.
manipulate it. So that's really important to have those safeguards in place. But at the same time, looking backwards, looking at history, all the things that changed throughout history that initially people were afraid of.
Right.
Initially, people thought they were the devil, and now they're commonplace in our society. So we have to understand that quite literally, we're in a technological revolution right now, and unless we really take in the information to understand how to apply it to what it is that we want out of life, we're going to get left behind.
Yes.
And it's not we're going to be, we are being left behind. So many people. And I really encourage people to, I don't know if you have it in your course, but I'm sure it's something that you can add to your website or something, but like news resources where people can go and learn how to keep a certain specific areas that are credible when it comes to getting the information, when it comes to
Yes.
educate yourself, so on and so forth. Because a lot of people will quickly go to the guru and get false information and find themselves on the short end of the stick.
Some of these gurus are recycled. It's
Mhm.
recycled information, not researched information. Some information you should recycle, you should spread out. But when things are changing and when things are updating, so when you go to register for the course, so there's two things. One, if you register for the course, before the end of the day, I'm gonna go ahead and extend this through Monday because we've been doing this all weekend. So I'll go ahead and extend it through Monday evening. you'll get access to 4 weeks of office hours after you enroll in the course. Because the course is not going to take you're not going to be sitting there for 6 weeks going through this. No, like I say, you can knock it out in a day. But once you knock it out, that information you still have access to it. But also, nobody can take that away from you. And once you start engineering those prompts, you've entered a whole nother level of where you keep going. And everything that you learn will show you how you can use that language to communicate with other AIs, with other bots, it's amazing, like what I've been discovering with this and working with, and especially doing things with Elmer. But the next part is with the office hours, that office hour sector where we come together. That's an $800 volume
Mm.
to have that added on. Not only that, but you'll be on an email list. Now you can choose to opt out at any time, but what I'm going to use that list for is to do exactly what you said. Here's what's, new. Update yourself on this, have you taken a look at this, and continue to, give those resources, to them, to my audience, to people who are deciding to, enroll in this course, because there'll be things that'll come up that'll highlight, that'll change. And as long as you're on the email list, I'll be able to, send it to you. Here's some new safeguards. Here's new litigation. I actually was in it's about a 2-hour legal lecture in the metaverse this weekend that went through the new laws that creators need to follow and be aware of, rather, when it comes to the metaverse and when it comes to AI and Web3. And that was interesting to go to a seminar, a
Yeah.
legal seminar in the metaverse. Yeah. that was I was like, whoa, this is all right. So
Man.
it's fun,
Yeah, and I mean, just that in and of itself that you're speaking on, it just goes to show like we got Zoom, but the metaverse is different. Like to be able to interact in certain type of environments with people from all over the world, and to do so on a platform of that type of technology.
Mhm.
So yeah, like it's it's getting crazy out here, guys. But the only way you cannot go crazy trying to keep up with the crazy is by educating yourself on it,
Yes.
so it'll become commonplace for you.
Yes.
So so as we get ready to wrap up, and by the way, guys, we're gonna be doing more of these sessions because we got to make sure we get this information out
Yes.
to the masses. But as we wrap up, what is one thing that you would like to leave with the people that they need to look out for? I know a lot of times people can get into a course and they can get intimidated, give it up, and don't reach out, ask for help. They get into a course and they just kind of gaze or glaze over it. They think they know everything, and let me go and conquer the world. What's one takeaway to make sure that people really get the maximum out of this course that you'd like to share?
In the words of Kendrick Lamar, rather, I tell you, be humble. Humble yourself.
Be humble.
And yep, exactly. And approach it like you know nothing. Because if you approach it like you know nothing, you're going to pick it up faster. And with that eye, you're going to be able to not only learn it, but whatever you have going on, whatever your business is, you're going to be able to see more so where you can use it, where you can continue to pivot with your business to make sure that you're ahead of the game. Like there's people out there now that like, when I, became a prompt engineer. When was the last time you heard of a prompt engineer? Well, guess what? You can put this stuff together. You can, I've been amazed at some of the things that I've been able to put together with prompts. And now I'm venturing more into taking those prompts and taking things that have been produced and they're already artwork and animating it using AI. So just with a still picture, taking it, and there's AI now you can automate it. And if you put your prompts correctly, then you can have it do, you know, you can make whole scenes and things like that. So if I can't find the scene, but at the same time, here's where I talk about using it as a compliment and not a crutch. So I come up with the concept and I will actually send it to the artist, because there's something when it comes to art, there's something that an artist's eye and a human hand does that gives it, a certain feel. But instead of me trying to describe it, I can put into prompts, put it together, have the colors get close, and the artist can come in. So if you're thinking about, saying, oh, I don't need to commission artists anymore, think again. It just cuts the process down. How many times have you tried to describe what you're trying to get at to someone? You prompt engineer that, you send it off to the artist to get the commission. They put the perfection on it and send it back to you, because now they have a visual of what you're trying to describe to them. And they say, okay, with their artist eye, they can put that finishing touch on it or even give it that mood that you actually want to have. So see it as a compliment. Don't see it as a replacement, but don't be afraid to learn, or you will be replaced.
That is so real. So real, so real, so real. So, guys, I say click on the link. If you're on Facebook, just drop the link in the chat. If you're on, let's see here. Yes, if you're on YouTube, the link will be dropped in the chat. I mean, it's easy to get to, for my son
Yep, number
LLC.com. I
4.
mean, it's pretty simple. Yeah, number 4, mysonllc.com, and it's right down on the top third of the page. But I just want to thank you, Candra, for one putting this course together, because it's inspired me to go ahead and put together some courses that I have
Mm-hmm.
been just a library of information in here,
Yes.
and I've got to put it out, because for those who are looking, especially those who are watching, especially those who are entrepreneurs, it being in here can only do so much. You got to get it out and get it to the masses. So, off that note, thank you again for joining me. We'll definitely be doing this again more soon than later. And anybody that's watching, don't hesitate to reach out to Candra. If you have any questions, reach out to myself if you can't get a hold of her, or if you're more comfortable reaching out to me, I'll get you the information.
Yep,
But
they can message me on Candy, Candye, Candy Wine and Wealth, on both Facebook and Instagram. So it's CEO Kendra Lewis on Twitter. So they can definitely reach out to me there. We also I was invited to be on Elmer's panel on the 26th of August, and that link is up on my Facebook and my Instagram, and we're going to keep promoting it. So aside from getting the course, you'll want to get in on that, because everything that I talked about tonight and more. And if
beautiful.
anybody on here who's watched this that has ever sat in a room or sat down with Elmer, what he gives for free is amazing. What's going to
Yeah.
happen at this seminar is going to be crazy. And I'm just so happy I get to be a part of it.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, you can actually, if you go to her website, her Twitter and her Twitter and her Facebook are linked. It looks like the Instagram and the YouTube has to be updated, but don't hesitate to reach out, guys. One thing that I was always told when I was younger is a closed mouth don't get fed.
Yes,
If you need something,
that's
open your
true.
mouth. Let it be said. If you have something of value to offer, open your mouth. Let it be said.
That
And
is
that's when the riches will
true.
come your way, and you can help so many more people. So, off that note, I'm signing out. Y'all have a good one.